definitely amount of pain there.
Something big, like a Star Wars or a Marvel.
Wouldn't have been good, but would have been like, okay.
No!
You are at the movies with Ace
and Martin,
and we are here today discussing 2025 horror movies. Welcome into At the Movies with Ace and Martin. First episode, and we're kicking off spooky season here on the Face to Ace channel. For those of you who don't know us, I go by Ace, which you can see on Shock Wrestling and various things in that universe, and a man that I've collaborated for 8 years now, I think. Holy shit.
It's almost a decade. Almost a decade.
That is crazy to think. Nate Martin, you might know him in the Shock Wrestling versus Poplu if you're coming from that. But yeah, this is kind of going to be more of a consistent thing on Face the Ace, where Nate and I decided to do movie content on a weekly basis for this channel. And we're both horror movie buffs. We love the spooky season, and I thought this was a great way to kick things off and try to get people in the spooky season by telling everybody what we checked out this year, horror movie-wise.
Yeah, I think later this month we'll probably share some, like, classics, like some of our favorite horror movies of all time. But, you know, every year so far of the 2020s, I feel like we've gotten a nice, like, cream of the crop selection of horror movies. And I feel like 2025 is no different. There's been some gigantic blockbuster horror movies this year. Like, so much so that they're some of the most lucrative movies of the year. I've got a couple of deep cuts. I've got some smaller movies as well. My list is really just the ones that I think I'm gonna watch again and again and again. These are ones that'll probably become staples for me in some capacity or another, especially my top three.
My number 5 kicks off with a weird one, but other than that, I think these are 4 movies that when I think of this year in horror, I'm going to think of these 4 movies. And yeah, I kind of base my list around that. But yeah, and what we'll just kind of do is we'll go back and forth between our top 5s and just discuss them amongst ourselves. If we have some same ones, I'm sure we'll just mention that right off the bat. But yeah, let us know, guys, what your favorite horror movie of the year was while we get into this. I will let you go first, Nate. What is your number 5?
My number 5 is the most recent David Cronenberg movie. It is The Shrouds. I feel like this movie is very polarizing. I know that there's a big group of people out there that love this new late era Cronenberg. I think they're big fans of... He's a lot more reflective and kind of almost like depressed. I really like seeing filmmakers of Cronenberg's generation, and even like a little bit before. You've got guys like Scorsese and you've got guys like Spielberg, all making some of their most personal movies of their careers right now. And this feels like no detachment from that. If you haven't heard of Shrouds, it's this loose, dark sci-fi kind of romance, sex drama. It's very odd, but it has a lot to say about themes of technology, specifically AI and surveillance, and what that looks like in our current timeline, as well as what's to come in the future. And there's this big, overwhelming sense of dread masked in sex. The main concept of this movie is that like a device or like a algorithm is created to communicate with those that have recently died. And you can kind of continue to foster a relationship post-death with people. And then there's like this big grave robbery. And most of the scares of this film are not shown. And I think that that's something that is the reason why I think a lot of people are kind of looking past this one and don't like it. But I think the performances across the board are fantastic, including a couple of new faces that I've never seen in a movie before. Everyone's firing on all cylinders. And if you're into Cronenberg, if you're into his style of movies, if you like Crash or The Fly or any of his weird movies, this is not any different than that. I thought this was a lot better than his last outing of Crimes of the Future, which looked like a more interesting movie in the same kind of wheelhouse about body modifications with Viggo Mortensen and Kristen Stewart. But this one, I think, is going to age a lot better and really is like a 4.5 star movie for me. It's not scary, but it is sickening, and it is dark and disgusting and freaky, and it's just what you kind of want when you're getting into the spooky season and thinking about the times of our days. I love Cronenberg and his like late stage old age paranoia. It's really fun, and it's not too like political. It's just straight fear, and I love that about the kind of tone that he is setting in these movies. He's afraid of the future. and I am too.
Yeah, I was about to say it sounds very timely with, the use of artificial intelligence and stuff, but that's an interesting take on it that I really haven't really even heard before. You've piqued my interest. I just added it to my watch list on Letterboxd, actually. Once I saw it on Letterboxd, I remembered the little hype it had around it of people watching at the time it came out, but that's really interesting and kind of deep. My number 5 is none of those things. I put at number 5 Clown in the Cornfield.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this
I did catch this one because I knew it would be on your list, so I was like, I gotta watch this. I enjoyed it a lot. Wasn't enough to make my list, but I liked it.
It reminded me of Eli Roth's Thanksgiving slasher, just not as good, but still really enjoyed it. It had that small town feel. I liked the asshole YouTubers. That was relatable. Like, at least once a year, I want, like, a solid slasher. It doesn't need to be this 5-star classic. It doesn't need to be a fucking legacy sequel at this point either. Like, just give me something that I can have fun with at 2 a.m. that was a cool $2 rental or whatever it was, and that's kind of what I got with Clown in the Cornfield. I thought the cast was really entertaining. The dad from, not young Sheldon's dad, but the other dad I noticed is in it. Who, that actor's also a big wrestling fan. I've been a fan of just his media content in general. He was really entertaining in this. If you just want some pure, Michael Myers type ridiculous shit, and you wanted modern in 2025, this is the movie to see. I watched it alone, but I could see it being a fun movie to watch with friends and stuff. Definitely worth checking out. They should drop this on a streaming service this October. I don't know why they haven't yet. It made money in the box office. It was actually profitable, so we're probably getting a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a cheap production budget. I think it was probably like 15 mil or less, and it did pretty decent in the theaters. I think this came out in like, March or April?
Yeah, it was like early in the year.
There's not a lot of competition. It was like right before Bloodlines, Final Destination Bloodlines. Whoever put it out was like kind of prepping the audience for the year of horror movies that we were getting. And I think it's really interesting when you're looking at like release schedule of this. You've got like the Prestige kind of like, I mean, The Shrouds is like Oscar contender, former winner, but not viable. It's a weird genre movie. And that comes out like super early in the year from last year's festival season. And then now we're getting like what we used to get with like blockbusters of like here's like the first real horror movie of the year in like March. And then it's like not the weird like Blumhouse $5 million, poop movies that came out in January. But like there's a release schedule.
I think that's why as I got older, I've loved the horror genre more because you can have, something really smart that you want to think about and talk about with people, or you could just have a clown that runs around with a chainsaw. Like, that's what other genre gives you that? There's really nothing else like it.
Yeah. No, and it's a great one because you can do the budgets for cheap. Yep. You don't need a ton of locations, you don't need a ton of characters, and if you sprinkle a little bit of extra money toward like a good director of photography or a really good script, you can really make a good movie for cheap, and it's one of the last few staples of the current Hollywood landscape. Yeah. I think this year alone, with the financial success we're seeing in this genre, like we're gonna have a huge resurgence of the smaller budget horror movies again.
It's really the only genre that wasn't affected by the strike or the pandemic. It kind of just stayed its course. Like, horror movies just, they are a really good, they're that solid backup quarterback. They're the Nick Foles to your Carson Wentz when you try to go for a Super Bowl. Sometimes you need that backup quarterback to step in, and horror movies do that for studios.
Yeah, and the MCU right now is looking like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, a roller coaster. But what is your number 4, Nate?
I'm a little conflicted because I definitely want my number 3 to be talked about, and I have a lot of movies that I think we're both gonna have on our list that I'm gonna punt. This is another kind of smaller, forgotten movie by a really well-known director. It's called Presence. It came out in January. And it was one of those things that I think was supposed to be slated for October last year. And then, like, I think a theater, like, slot thing happened where, like, a bigger movie was coming out. They're like, whatever, we'll dump it later in the year. Steven Soderbergh's presence. He did this thing where I think during the strikes, he just bought a house and was like, yeah, I'm going to set this up to be a movie, like, all filmed on location in this house. It is a ghost story. It is a movie where you're watching a family move into their new home. Julia Fox plays the real estate agent. Great performance. Love to see Julia Fox.
Benny Safdie's muse.
Yeah. Well, when he was writing Uncut Gems, not any point before, during, or after, just when he was writing it. But yeah, you've got a really, really great cast. I actually want to shout out the guy who plays the dad in this movie because I think he has the most range and his like a really funny, like goofball kind of performance, and then like brings it into the kind of like the emotional grounding of the film as well. I just want to make sure I shout out everybody in that cast because that is what elevated the picture for me. It was a vehicle written for Lucy Liu. She plays the mom. And then Chris Sullivan, who's a great character actor, plays the father. And then you've got, some new fresh talent in Kalina Lang and Eddie Mayday as the, children. And then they have a friend named Wes Mulholland who comes in and around and is like probably a fifth character who's just always there. But this story's really cool. It's a family drama, and you're seeing it all from the perspective of this ghost that's haunting. And as the story unwinds, you learn a little bit more about like the mystery of why the family moved and the weird conflicts and things between the parental figures and their children and kind of what they have going on and the emotional baggage surrounding them. And then you understand and learn before too far into the movie, you learn who the ghost is. And that's really where I locked in on this movie. I think there's a weird kind of twist that is set up well, and it probably would upset some audience members. I think the way that it was handled was really intense. Great performances from actors I haven't seen before again. But a little stomach churning, and again, not a scary movie, but one that's a little sick and definitely worth checking out. I believe it's on Hulu now. It's a fine film, definitely a spooky one to check out this season. And again, it's technical achievements with doing it all in one location and having like this kind of like long take, like fluid cam, like just moving through the house and being the ghost is a really cool way to watch a movie like this, especially since the monster of this movie isn't supernatural.
That's interesting. Another movie I didn't get to check out. This is cool.
I had to throw some recommendations your way.
Yeah, absolutely. My watch list is getting. I always appreciate more stuff getting added to my watch list. This is why. I think this will work. We both bring in different things, so we're not just going, That's you definitely get two sides of the same coin on this pod.
Don't worry, we've got sinners coming up. There's gonna be a lot of
Yeah. My number 4, I have no idea what your feelings on this movie is. I don't think we ever discussed it. My number 4 is Final Destination Bloodlines. I had a really fun time in this movie. I don't have that much of a connection to the originals. They were just kind of movies that would come on like MTV or cable growing up, and I'd watch them sporadically. This one was coming out. I had no plans to go, and a friend asked me to go. Went to a theater I was never at before, and it was packed. It was a small little theater. It was like a local theater, and it was packed, and the crowd, I think, really helped this experience. They were loving it. This movie's really funny. It feels nostalgic in a way. It's a very Y2K movie. Like especially the characters. You got kind of like the emo goth like tattoo guy. Like that's such to me like a Y2K horror character. The way that was presented. I really enjoyed the story with the whole bloodline that it connected to this family, and the family is very separated, and there's a lot of issues, and they kind of need to come back to each other. I found it all actually really intriguing for a Final Destination movie. And the movie made bank. If they do a sequel, I hope they don't do the bloodline things again. Keep this contained. This was such a tight script, and I just really enjoyed it. I love the bit where the one guy, which I believe is the goth tattoo guy where he is revealed to be adopted because he was never getting killed. Bits like that is so fun that we really don't get in legacy sequels. Like I harp back to the Halloween sequels where they just got too serious for me, especially the last one where it was like you can have heavy themes in your slashers, but I just miss a movie like this. Like I miss like this. We need popcorn flicks back like this, and it was worth going to the theater, which I don't say a lot when it comes to a movie like this.
Yeah, no, I did like Final Destination Bloodlines. It didn't quite make my list. I probably have a little bit more attachment to the franchise as a whole than maybe you do.
Yeah, I watched them all like once.
I'll watch any Final Destination movie pretty much any day. I think they're
Yeah.
just fun having the background movies. I don't think I have, like, this doesn't make my list officially, but one thing that kind of shocked me was how much more I liked Osgood Perkins' The Monkey, which they came out within like a month of each other, and they're the same kind of premise of like this.
I was thinking about checking that out. I didn't get to see it.
The honorable mention to The Monkey. I didn't think it was great, but I had more fun with that, and it might have been my theater experience because The Monkey was like your Bloodlines experience, where I was in a packed theater, and the movie is like laugh out loud funny, like splatter fest. Everyone's going nuts in the theater, and I thought The Monkey was just the same type of film, and even though it's based off of a Stephen King short, it felt a little more fresh because there's a cursed like object instead of like a curse that's happened to these characters for narrowly surviving death or being connected to people who had. And that's kind of what I really, really dug about the movie was like there's a MacGuffin as like a central like plot point, and then there's characters that know about it and that are trying their best to stop everyone from dying in horrible ways. I also love that like Osgood Perkins is riding this wave from like the Longlegs like mixed success, like made a lot of money. He's a big name. He's producing like 3 movies a year now. It's like, okay, Osgood Perkins is on the map. But like this movie's not serious. This movie's not even trying to be like earnest. This movie's straight up a farce, and it's incredible. I loved the movie, and Bloodlines is great. I think that one's going to be another one that I watch like year and year again. I think it's a great movie to have on this list because I mean it fits right in with like the first 2 or 3 like really solid slasher movies, but there's no monster, just death itself.
It's a great movie. You could be hanging out with friends in somebody's basement and scrolling through Netflix, and if it's there, that's a good watch. And all the Final Destination movies have always had that, thing to it too, where it's just if you're into that stuff, it's a very, friendly movie. Weird thing to say about one of the goriest franchises ever, but as what is your number 3?
Oh, you want to talk gore? Let's talk gore. This movie's only available to watch online on Shudder right now, but I had a friend recommend this movie to me about a month ago, and it was after Sean Baker wrote a public Letterboxd review for it. This is The Ugly Stepsister. Have you heard about this one?
Yes, I didn't know where to watch it, so it's on Shudder.
It's on Shudder, and I will give you my login again. Definitely check it out this spooky season. I loved this film. I thought it was incredible start to finish. It's atmospheric, and it's gross. It looks like a period drama, and it gets absolutely gnarly body horror. The pitch is it's Cinderella, but the main character you're following is one of the ugly stepsisters, and she's really trying to fit into that shoe. She wants to be the damn princess and will do anything she can to get there. It's gross. There's blood and guts and toes being mutilated, and it is gnarly. It's like watching a car accident in slow motion, and I loved it. The performances were great. The cinematography was great. The special effects were great. This is going to go down as one of those cult classics of this era. I want to say the movie's like Scandinavian or something. I think it's like a European movie.
I was about to say, I remember it wasn't in English, right?
Yeah, there was subtitles. It's worth watching. It's worth checking out, and it's one of the gnarliest body horror movies I've seen in a while. It's a lot less campy than The Substance, but if you took like one of the gnarly scenes in The Substance and you put it into an hour of this runtime, that's what you're getting. It's gross, and I loved it. Definitely worth checking out if you're into that kind of stuff. If you like gore, check out The Ugly Stepsister. I won't spoil too much more.
Disney's The Substance. It's
The best public domain horror movie.
a good time to bring up, because I guess an honorable mention, I did watch it a couple months ago, was Screamboat, the Steamboat Willie horror. That I watched that with some friends. Definitely a fun time. I don't think I would have liked it if I watched it alone, but I had a good group of people around me who, like Disney and stuff, so we were understanding all the references in that. Really, really funny stuff. There was a group of drunk, fraternity, group of fraternity girls. I think it was some kind of party, but they're all dressed as Disney princesses. You could tell which one's Jasmine, which one's Sleeping Beauty, and that was really funny to see them all get mutilated. And yeah, it's a good time if you're into the Terrifier movies, stuff like that. It's right up that alley. I think it's from the same studio. Yeah, it's a good time with some friends. Definitely not a bad time. The origin of the Screamboat character is really funny as well. I thought it was pretty clever. So yeah, overall, I haven't seen the Winnie the Pooh ones, but I heard this one is much better. This one just has a better script.
Yeah, I've seen the first two Winnie the Pooh ones. They're not worth watching.
Yeah.
I mean, they're cheap exploitation films just capitalizing on the IP, and they try to add in too much lore for their own good, and you're just what am I watching? This is boring. There's 3 good kills in the movie, but they're stretched out way too long. It reminds me of the first Terrifier, which is a movie I don't not like, but it's it's just doing the Terrifier with Winnie the Pooh instead of Art the Clown.
Yeah.
I'm not here for it. What do you have for number 3, Ace?
My number 3, I didn't realize was a horror movie, but according to Letterboxd, it is. I have Companion as my number 3.
Okay.
I really like this movie. I did not see the trailer that spoiled everything.
Yeah, I didn't see the trailer either.
Yeah.
I just saw the movie.
I didn't know she was a robot. I think I saw the little teaser for it, and it just said from the producers of Barbarian, and I was like, okay, I probably shouldn't see anything else, because I remembered how good Barbarian's marketing was, and I didn't really know much going into that movie. More on the makers of Barbarian later, I'm sure. But Companion has that kind of same setup where you're introduced to these characters, and then kind of a quarter in, you're actually presented what the actual plot is, or what the inciting incident is. They kind of just give you some hints along the way, but you're not. It's a clever movie. I may have rated it too high when I first saw it. I left it really liking it, and now thinking about it more, I'm a little about it now that we're wrapping up the year. I'm like, is this going to be really high on my list for best of the year? I don't know. It's definitely something that I maybe might revisit before I do a top 10 of the year. But for right now, I really enjoyed my first viewing. Kept me on my toes. I don't want to butcher any names, because I do think the lead actress was awesome in it. Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid, of course, were the 2 leads. Weird year for Jack Quaid.
Yeah, Novocaine. Shout outs to that, I guess.
But yeah, overall, it's weird, because I'd say this is more of a thriller, but according to Letterboxd, horror was in one of the genres, and I was like, all right, a cool way to talk about Companion before I maybe have it on my best of the year, maybe I don't.
Yeah, I think I want to give it a rewatch too, because I was really surprised by it. I was I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, and I liked the themes. I feel like we've gotten a couple of movies with the same kind of theme of that, not necessarily parasocial, but codependent relationship. And another shout out to Together. I'm not really a big Dave Franco fan, or Alison Brie for that matter. But that's kind of riding the same line.
I was thinking about watching that movie for this video, but I was like, it's. It was one of those, if I had time, I'd check it out, and I didn't have time for it. That's But yeah, right now, I think number 3 is a good place for it, where I think it's better quality than the other 2 movies that I mentioned on my list, but I don't think it's nowhere near my top 2. I think my top 2 are low-key masterpieces. So, what is your number 2?
So I'm at a weird point now where I have 3 movies left that I want to discuss, and I really hope you have the third. But the number 2 horror movie for me this year, and this is just within the confines of the genre of horror, is Bring Her Back.
Oh.
Terrifying movie from the brothers who used to make YouTube videos that made Talk to Me. This movie is right along the same vein in terms of scariest horror movie of the year. This is the most scared I was in a horror movie, and some of that fear is supernatural and paranoid. Some of it is just humanity at its worst.
A slightly older, creepy white woman always gets me as well.
Sally Hawkins is incredible in this movie. Best performance I've seen in a horror movie with a like a female lead since like Toni Collette in Hereditary. The fact that this movie didn't get more discussion or more buzz or more hype when it came out kind of blows my mind, because Talk to Me was a big success. Huge success, and this movie's better. I straight up think this movie's scarier. I think this movie's more like, it's better paced. It's got all these great child actor performances that, like, obviously I haven't seen these actors before. Terrifying movie. Probably my favorite horror movie of the year in terms of, like, the most scared I was watching a movie. I don't know how rewatchable it will be. I think it's a little too twisted. It's really messed up. But it is a great film, and one that I highly, highly, highly recommend. It's gonna stand out as the best horror movie of this year, if not for what number one is.
Yeah, it didn't make my list. Half because I knew you wanted to talk about it. I knew it'd be on your list. And I think I need a rewatch on this movie, because I quite like it, but it didn't hit home for me. And I think now, going into it, knowing what's going to happen, and now I could just look at it as a film, I think I'm going to enjoy it more whenever that rewatch will be. Because you're right, the acting's great. Have you heard the controversy about, I think it's only one of the directors, it might be both of them?
No. Oh God.
Not to bring up pro wrestling again, but so these guys are big wrestling fans, and one of them took a gnarly bump into a table with glass and shit. Insane spot. It wasn't for TV or anything. I've heard some criticisms like, you work for a major studio, why are you doing this stuff? And listen, ball is life, love of the game. I don't know.
That's barely controversial. Good for the Filippo brothers. I mean, let them be their pro wrestling selves. Yeah.
I was about to say, they're pretty much stuntmen. Like, they've done this for years, since they were kids. Like, who cares? As long as they don't die. You could fucking shoot a movie with a torn ACL, especially where they are in their careers. They got a full crew and stuff. It's not like they're shooting out of their garage.
Yeah, which is where they started, and I think it's so cool that, like, whether they're getting bankrolled by A24 or additional, production companies, it's cool that people see their value and that their first movie was such a big success financially. Because I don't think that Bring Her Back feels like a blank check movie at all. It feels right aligned with the tone that they have established. It just maybe isn't as marketable of a premise, or maybe A24 was too busy spending their investments and advertising on Death of a Unicorn, which was stupid of them.
A movie movie I did watch for the video.
Yeah,
I did give it a chance.
I watched it too. It was fine. It was fine. It was better than I thought it would be, but it wasn't great.
100% agree. I was like, this is better than I thought. Will Poulter is really funny in it.
He's always great.
Yeah, but overall, it's still not good. Like, it still didn't reach anything. It's still below average for me.
Yeah. What's your number two?
My number two is Weapons, and I'm sure that is the one you were hoping for, because I think we're going to have the same number one. Weapons, I think, is how we felt after Hereditary. I really think this movie is going to change the trend of horror. I think we're getting out of the Hereditary era, if that makes total sense. I think this is the type of horror, at least mainstream-wise, really want. I think people do want a movie, one that they really want to see in theaters right away. Like, they don't want to be spoiled at all. It had some really good marketing, like Barbarian. I avoided the trailers, once again, because I knew it was the director of Barbarian, but people have said the marketing was, once again, really good. Yeah, and I think, like, it also helps when you have, like, casting. Like, the first movie had Bill Skarsgård, like a horror legend. And this movie, you bring in Josh Brolin, who's, like, for us is, like, god tier, like, actors. Like, I will see anything Josh Brolin's in. So
literally,
this movie felt so elevated than Barbarian in its cast and its complex story. There's a lot of comparisons to Magnolia. I mean, to get comparisons to, S tier films that people say are masterpieces, that goes a long way. I think this movie is low-key could be a masterpiece upon some rewatches. I love this movie.
Yeah, spoiler alert. I'm just gonna segue and keep praising. My number one is Weapons.
Okay.
This movie, you're totally right on the money. You're hitting the nail on the head. This is going to change the trajectory of horror movies for the next 5 to 10 years. I think everything that you're saying of it having need to see in theaters. It's probably the only movie that's come out this year that I was like, that I have to see opening night in theaters. Because if I don't, it's gonna get spoiled for me.
Yep.
And it's like it's not something that's guaranteed to be on a streaming service in 3 weeks.
Yeah, and it has that over Hereditary, because I didn't see Hereditary in theaters. That was actually a movie I watched at home. But Weapons, I think because of how Barbarian was, it was like, oh, I need to see this like opening day. Like, you're gonna have those rabid fans who are gonna want to see it immediately. And a lot of horror movies, even the greatest ones like Hereditary, didn't even have that. Like, this is going to have an edge over everything in the genre.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zach Cregger in 2 movies has made a name for himself that is just going to warrant. I love Barbarian. Barbarian's a great film. Not one I caught in theaters. Wasn't really on my radar. Watched it as soon as it hit HBO. I think it was a little close to the pandemic. It might have been 2021, 2022.
Yeah. I watched it alone at 10 p.m. in a theater. Like a psychopath.
I remember seeing the trailer and I was like, oh, it's like a home invasion or like a weird, like creepy domestic thriller. Like, this is something I want to watch and it looks good. I'll check it out some other time. And missed the boat. And I'm like, I have to see Weapons. Barbarian's one of the best movies of 2022 by a landslide. And I'm like, I've got to go see Weapons. I loved the framing device of following a different character for each chapter. And I could write a video essay about how well the narrative handoffs are and where you see like the timelines for different characters from different perspectives. I think it's really on the nose and they made it really easy to follow, which I appreciate. Even in things like Pulp Fiction and Magnolia, the way that those handoffs happen and timeline wise, you have to be kind of paying attention a little bit more. And because of this movie having a mystery, it doesn't force you to pay attention to where am I at chronologically. It communicates it very well.
Dare I say, first episode, I'm already saying something a little movie controversial. Dare I say, it's a little tighter than Pulp Fiction. I think it's a little more welcoming than Pulp Fiction.
Maybe. I don't think it has as good of dialogue. I don't think it's as quippy.
No, definitely not. But the structure of it, it might be a little better than Pulp Fiction. I don't know.
It's definitely a product of the things that Zach Cregger likes in the movies that he watches, and it's taking those and molding it into something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite elements of this movie, and it ties into my number 2 with Bring Her Back, if you can get children to give good performances and you have sequences of them in peril as just a human being with basic survival instincts, the elevation is like heightened.
Yeah.
And I like how they don't reveal exactly what's going on with the one kid who survives in the classroom until they just show everything, and then you're like, oh my god, this kid is doomed. And I really like how good his performance is when like he sees Julia Garner's character outside his house, and she's like been following him, and she feels connected to him. Incredibly layered and detailed character and performance from her in this movie, because deep down she's a good person. People just don't like her. And she's not perfect. She's making mistakes left and right. It's like this weird catch-22 where I still was cheering for this character to get the closest thing to a happy ending she could. Yeah. Despite, another huge shout out, the whole cop and tweaker relationship and back-to-back story plots is incredible.
Fucking Jay from Silent Bob ass as like tweaker with Alden Ehrenreich is great.
Alden Ehrenreich's best performance is this movie, hands down. He's incredible in this movie. The fact that people say he can't act or whatever he just totally proved everybody wrong.
I was about to say, for the people who know us well, we've been cheering on Alden Ehrenreich for years. I'm glad he's getting roles again.
Since Hail Caesar, I'm like, this guy's the best part of this movie. He's incredible in this role, and I really, really appreciate the details for the drug addict kind of drifter guy, because you follow his section of the movie has the least amount of dialogue, but we learn the most amount of stuff. And
the most stuff happens to him, like physically. Like, cool.
Yeah. We're seeing the the handoff in the narrative between him and Alden Ehrenreich's cop character in such a good narrative way that really bridges the second act to the finale in a fantastic way. I think that the little kid, the Alex sequence is once they reveal what the monster is in this movie, the whole mystery element falls away. You have the answer, but now you have to strap in for the last act roller coaster, and you have to see where that story goes.
And how they defeat the antagonist is one of the most, dare I say, crowd-pleasing moments I've seen in a movie in a while. So satisfying.
Absolutely.
Like, it's exactly what you want to happen. When it was happening, I'm like, they're not gonna really do this. And then it's happening, I'm like, oh my god, they're doing it. And you just have that, like, almost relief too, in a way, because you've been so on edge, like, watching this character and getting mad. Like, this movie brings out so many emotions as you're watching it. It's one of those movies, like Barbarian, can't wait to show other people. With Barbarian, I didn't even realize how many times I've showed that movie to people. I was, my sister Grace, who, big horror movie fan as well, before Weapons was coming out, I was like, oh, we should watch Barbarian. And she was like, you showed me that, Josh. I'm like, oh, I guess I show that movie to a lot of people where I don't even realize. And I think Weapons will be another one. I can't wait to rewatch this. I saw it twice. The second time was at a drive-in. It was at night. The moon was out. The moonlight's beaming on you. We had these, like, creepy trees around us. Like, the vibes were all there. It was giving spooky vibes. I had a really good time my second time as well, and yeah, I can't wait to show other people it.
Another thing that can't be understated about the movie is how well they capture, like, that small kind of town vibe.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
the
is
setting
hard to
is
do.
so good. And it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is like some... It takes place in, like, Pennsylvania, right? I
believe
feel
so.
like it... Yeah, it's like, it nails its scene on its head, like just nail on the head, like... The setting's great. The characters are strongly written. Josh Brolin gives one of the best performances of his entire career in this movie.
From what I've seen of Brolin the past, in my lifetime, it might be my favorite since No Country. Like,
Yeah, it's up there with No Country for me.
yeah, like, it's right there, I think. Like,
It's like that and Sicario are, like, married at his number one right now, and this is closely sneaking to his number two.
and then Men in Black 3, right? That's
Yeah, I mean, low-key.
He's great in it.
He's incredible.
Like,
He's incredible.
pretty great
It's the best
in
part
it.
of that movie.
You brought up Small Town. I saw a movie for this video called Night of the Reaper, which was a Shudder
Oh, yeah.
original. I think it's number 1 on Shudder right now, if anyone wants to check it out. And it had that small town feel. Luckily, it had an incredibly strong third act. Very rare in a horror movie where I don't like the first act, but really like the third. Like, that last quarter, like, really saved it. But I could tell, probably shot in Canada. The small town didn't feel like a small town. You really gotta make that a character, and, like, Weapons really made that a character, that town and stuff. It's tough to do. Sam Raimi does a good job at that too. Even in his Spider-Man movies, he makes the city a character, and it's a thing that filmmakers forget about almost, I feel like, a lot of times.
Yeah. If you have not seen Weapons and you're watching this, stop what you're doing. It's maybe still in a theater near you. It's been out for like 8 weeks, but I mean, who knows?
I believe
It's
it
a
just hit
huge
digital.
success.
It's worth the rent. Like,
Yeah.
to me, you're getting your money's worth, even if it is like
The
$10
moment
right
the
now.
voiceover ends and that George Harrison needle drop happens, you are locked into this thing for 2 hours, and it's a roller coaster.
Dude, in the drive-in with those vibes, and then that theme plays, like, I have goosebumps thinking about it. I'm like, this is what I want from a spooky season.
All right, so we've talked about my number one for quite a while now. I think for the sake of going on, what's yours?
My number 1 is Sinners.
Hell yeah.
This movie I've already revisited a bunch because it's already hit HBO Max. Watched it, I believe, on Holy Thursday in the for anyone that celebrates Easter. That's a Holy Week, and I think a movie like this, the way it started and the way it ended, was interesting. It's a very spiritual movie in a way, and I love it. Like Weapons, I believe this could be another masterpiece. It's something I've never seen with vampires. Like, and that is so rare to do in movies these days, especially in an oversaturated subgenre like vampire movies. We grew up in an era where, vampire movies were romanticized by teen novels like Twilight or the Vampire Diaries show. yeah, I'm sure you agree, where we had an era where vampires were kind of lame.
Yeah, I mean, there was True Blood that came out a little bit before both of those things that kicks ass if you haven't seen that. But you're right, like we've constantly gotten desensitized and cleaned vampires for the past like 15 years, and then like Nosferatu comes out, and we're back.
Yep.
And this movie just carries that torch and then runs with it.
Nosferatu, which was my movie of the year in 2024, made vampires scary again, and Sinners made vampires cool again.
Okay.
My favorite scene might be the epilogue in the mid-credits. It's something that, like, you don't really get in movies, where the epilogue, like, especially in our era, where superhero movies dominate the end credits scene, right? And it's usually a gag. It doesn't really connect to the movie. This is a true, almost like a novelization of the movie, where it has a proper epilogue, and it adds so much. And it leaves you hanging. Before we go into it, go, just like Weapons, go see Sinners. What are you doing? It is the #1 horror movie. It made the most money this year. It is the movie this year. It's probably getting Oscar nominations, especially with
I would
the way
hope
the
so.
year's going.
I would
Yeah.
really hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Ryan Coogler has proved himself to be like maybe the best like working filmmaker today. I mean, he can make Marvel movies good.
Yeah.
He can make Rocky movies good. Like, if he can keep making movies based off of his original ideas, give him $200 million to make whatever he wants. He's the next Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he came into the Marvel Universe, made a kind of unknown superhero a household name, went into Creed, reinvigorated the boxing genre in movies, and now, yeah, he's made vampires cool. This guy could do no wrong. Like, James Gunn him. Put him at the head of something, because he knows how to reinvent an IP.
I don't even need him to reinvent IPs anymore. 2 times he's done this incredible work.
Yeah.
Literally, like, let's just let him make more Sinners. Like, make more whatever movie he wants to make. Just give him the budget, and it'll look great. The performances will be great, and he's box office wise one of the most successful filmmakers of his generation.
Yeah.
Literally, give Ryan Coogler as much money as possible so we can keep the art form of movies alive. I love that Tom Cruise is like, I want to be in Sinners too. Like, what are you saying, you deranged old man? But sure, yeah, we'll make it about you, I guess.
What I love about Sinners 2 is you see the combinations of his movies. You have the action, which, you know, I'm sure he learned a lot doing Black Panther. You have that intimate stuff, especially with one of the Michael B. Jordan twins with their baby that died. That was very Fruitvale Station, you know, just very grounded. This is a serious fucking topic. And of course, from the Creed movies, the insane camera work that was in Creed was also on display. It feels like his Goodfellas. Like, that was Scorsese's, like, climax to what he was been working on for years, of all the techniques he learned. And to me, that's what Sinners is. And I can't wait to see what that next step is, because Scorsese it's not like he got worse after Goodfellas. He kept making masterpieces. Now we're in the era where I will see any kind of Ryan movie, because I think it will be above average. It will be a, 8 out of 10 minimum. Like, this guy is a banger after banger.
Yeah, I can't wait for his Casino. If this is his Goodfellas, because you know me, it's the one after that people say isn't as good that is the best one. I gotta say, the reason Sinners didn't make my list, one, I had it at my number 2 spot, but I wanted to talk about Bring Her Back, and I had a hunch after you said Weapons. I was like, okay, so I see how this is going. Also, another thing, the parts of this movie that I like have nothing to do with horror movies. They have absolutely nothing to do with horror movies. This movie almost transcends the horror genre in a way where it is first and foremost to me an action movie and then a historical drama. This is one of the best gangster movies we've had in a while. This is one of the best revenge movies we've had in a while. This is one of the best historical drama movies set in the South we have had in a while. And I'm comparing that to even movies that are totally serious historical biopics. I really, really, really enjoyed how well they captured what life looked like even after the Civil War in the South for Black Americans. And I liked the mystery of, they're coming down here with all this money. Like, what's their plan? They're throwing this big barn burner. Like, this isn't going to be lucrative. No one has money. They're all like glorified sharecroppers throwing their pennies down on the counter. And I liked that it was all a setup to get rid of the Klan. the payoff of this movie is so good, even after they get rid of the vampires. The main kid that we follow has a great voice. I loved the musical moments of this. This movie is the best musical of the year. This movie's better than any music biopic that's coming out this year.
It's that kid's first movie ever. Like,
incredible.
Miles Cannon is probably getting an Oscar nom.
He should be nominated. He's incredible.
He could win.
The soundtrack is incredible. For what, leading actor? Supporting actor? Where do you put him?
I would say supporting, but the Oscars are weird. They might put him at lead. You never know with them.
Yeah, he's incredible. It's an incredible, incredible performance. And Michael B. Jordan's great. Like you said, the grounded stuff with his wife and the dead baby and all of that, and him single-handedly taking out all of those Klansmen at the end is like, dude is just incredible. And it's so, finding the emotion in a pretty much single location horror movie, because that's like, it's got a big setup. It's got these great musical numbers. It's got this, like, get the gang back together. Gotta shout out to Delroy Lindo. Oh my God, he is incredible in this film.
Awesome in this.
He's the comedic relief, but also, like, drives the plot forward in a lot of big ways. I mean, low-key, the reason why I don't feel bad not having Sinners make my final list of top 5 horror movies of the year is because this is probably going really high on my favorite movies of the year. Yeah. I think it's blow for blow the movie that 2025 is going to be remembered for.
I've only given 3 movies 5 stars on my Letterboxd this year, and Sinners is one of them. So it's guaranteed probably top 3 unless anything crazy happens. It could be number 1. I have juggled those 3 movies in my brain for months now, and I'll do it for another 3 months.
I can't sing the praises of Sinners enough. I think the weakest elements of the movie are the vampire stuff. I like the metaphor and the extended metaphor of, like, their take on, like, cultural takeover, vampirism in that capacity. And I also like their music too, because it's a different style than most of the music that's been presented, where they have like that little like Irish folk number.
Goes hard. Banger.
There's just a few elements of this movie that I'm not in love with. Mm-hmm. I like the epilogue a lot. I don't necessarily... My gripes with it are mostly that Haley Steinfeld's there. I don't know. Like, maybe that's the point. I don't know. It feels like they're the villains. They got away. They're keeping the vampire thing along, and they're able to have that mature sit down with the grown-up version of that
interesting.
Kid.
So was the main Irish guy kind of the mother bee? So him killing the mother bee, does that mean they're free? Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld's character, do they have a free mind but are still vampires? I wonder.
I think they still have the hive mind thing, and I think it's implied that they've been making more vampires as well.
Oh, maybe
because they made the deal where they just can't get him. So to me, it feels like they've just continued the vampire thing, and that's why they want to get him toward the end of his life so he can live on and continue that music. I don't like the hive mind part of the vampire lore. I think that element of it is what kind of ruins it from being scary for me.
It's very Joss Whedon, like ending of Avengers 1. I think I really like the mid-credits scene, whatever you want to call it, because it leaves you wondering, like, to have these discussions like this, where it's like when he talks about, that was the last night I saw the sun, last day I saw my brother, like, it's like, oh, so he's in there, but, like, it really leaves you thinking. And I heard, like, sequel stuff, like, no, I want to just keep wondering. I want to keep rewatching the movie and keep thinking about it more. I leave it a nice mystery that I can always just think about.
And the line that gives me chills that's in that scene is he was like, you know, I wouldn't take that day back. You know, it was horrible, but that was the best day of my life. That was the first day I was free. And that's something that both those characters feel for each other and for that day. And I really think that that's a nice bow to wrap on such a, like, kind of bleak at times movie. And, like, you know, almost everyone dies.
Bleak but powerful at the same time. It's interesting. Yeah. It's very interesting how he's able to combine those themes that, with a filmmaker not as seasoned, maybe would not work. It's one of those movies where you could tell, like, it's probably been sitting on his mind for a while, but now was the time to do it. And yeah, no, it's fantastic. If you haven't seen that movie yet, what are you doing?
Yeah, seriously. What rock have you been sleeping under?
There is a couple of honorable mentions I want to quickly just say a sentence about. I saw Him last week, and I believe you did too. That didn't work. It's especially the third act, but there was a lot of, especially coming from a sports fan like me, there was a lot of stuff that bothered me. A lot of
That's the movie that, by
inconsistencies.
the way, every single ESPN commentator thought Concussion was.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't mind to see Marlon Wayans though do a role like that again. Like I think with a better script, he could be really good in something else. It definitely wasn't his fault.
I think he's one of those guys where to get the best performance out of him, he has to be working with like a director that wants something specific. He's really, really good in movies where I'm trying to think I mean, Requiem for a Dream. That's Darren Aronofsky taking the control of that.
Yeah.
I think when people give him less direction or like don't have as strong of a vision of what they want, I think Marlon Wayans kind of can go a little too over the top, which can work. It works really well in like his scary movies and the ones that he's in charge of. But when I did not like his performance at all, and it was kind of the only thing that got me there besides some of the visual effects and like editing style stuff.
Visuals, I see people praising, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. I think there's better cutscenes in like the Mortal Kombat games. Like I don't know, it wasn't anything like crazy for me. Maybe I'm missing something there, but yeah.
I liked how neon and saturated it looked. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's like a 1.5, 1 star for me, somewhere down there. I haven't logged it. I'm bad at Letterboxd, which might be a good segue after your next few honorable mentions.
That's true. Way early in the year, I saw the Wolfman movie.
Oh, God.
I didn't think it was the greatest. Definitely wasn't making this. I did like seeing the visual of what Wolfman was looking like through his lens.
Yeah.
That was really cool. But it felt like too grounded. We were going from the house to the shed and then back to the shed to the house. And I'm like, I am getting bored. And yeah, I think structurally that movie's very flawed.
I also think it's like kind of ugly. Like I like the cast and I think
Yeah.
everyone's
It's
good,
so
but
dark. Like the lighting.
it's too dark.
Yeah, which is an issue in a lot of movies right now.
I watched that one at home. I didn't go see it in theaters. I feel like I adjusted my color settings on my TV like 3 times while watching it, trying to make sure that I didn't like mess it up or like that it had too high of contrast or something. And no, it's just that's how the movie looks.
Another thing I checked out was Woman in the Yard. Another one
Yeah,
that
that was
just
pretty
didn't
bad.
work. It had a really good trailer, I thought, but once I finally checked it out, just was not into it. And then, the ending, I think just wasn't, it didn't felt nothing. And it's such a heavy theming once you figure out what this movie's about, but you leave it going, that didn't really work. They didn't really set that up enough. It's a cool concept. I don't know if you checked it out. Did you check out the I Know What You Did Last Summer requel?
No, I did see the Conjuring 4 though instead.
Yes, the highest grossing horror movie of the year. I think the biggest opening weekend for a horror movie ever.
I think so. As the dust settled, I think it was.
Can I spoil I Know What You Did Last Summer to you real quick so I could get
Yes.
this reaction to you? Have you heard about what happens in it?
I don't know anyone who's seen this movie besides you.
So it's the same thing where it's like Scream, the fisherman character. It's probably one of them, and it's a whodunit, and then it's revealed to be one of the girls in the group, and it's like okay, and then they explain why. But then they Scream one us. There's 2 of them. The other fisherman is Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character. One of the
Okay.
craziest risks I've ever seen in a slasher that they did not accomplish that at all. They fumbled that on the 1-yard line. Insane. So him and I'm blanking on her name, the original final girl, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. They're divorced. They have one scene together where they're kind of bickering, and it's like, okay, will they end up being together? Like, and then no, he's literally the killer, and he's like, because everyone forgot about us. We went through all that, and they try to gloss over, because the town has really, glossed over that and tried to make it this upper class, like almost vacation type area. And Freddie Prinze Jr. is still a fisherman there, like he was in the original movie. I don't think the second movie is canon, because they never mention what happens in that one.
I don't think I'm ever seeing this legacy
It's-
sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer.
It's insane. Like, it is. I'm like sitting there like, really? Really? Like, we're doing this?
They
And
jumped the shark.
and I had to do research on it. I'm like, why did Freddie agree to this? Because he's so picky with his roles. And I
Yeah.
guess he went out to lunch with the director, and the director, I guess, gave him a badass pitch on what her thoughts on it. he was sold on it without reading a script. Then I was like, there it is. So this was probably a lot of interference in the script. Freddie was sold on the idea. It probably was a really good idea. That's an interesting thing to play. But Freddy's only in 30% of the movie, and I think I'm being generous by saying that. Like, you gotta make him, like, the lead supporting guy if you're going to do something like that. Like, that is risky as hell. Especially, there are people who fucking love the original movie. Like, that is such a risk. Yeah, I had to go on a mini rant there, because I didn't think I would even talk about this movie on the pod, and then that happened. And I was like, oh my god. I can't believe
I'm really glad I skipped past that one.
That would have been disappointing if I saw it in theaters. Thankfully, I checked it out at home. Yeah, and I think that was everything. Yeah, and I think
great.
That was all my honorable
let's take
mentions.
a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll get started with the next segment.
Let me change my boom.
And remember, use promo code at the movies on HelloFresh.com.
Put an ad for Scary Box.
How much is Nick paying us?
All right. Letterboxd. If you are listening to this pod and you're halfway through, you probably have one. As since this is our first episode on this new series, I thought it'd be fun to kind of introduce us in a way, and so you could kind of know what our taste is. We explain not only our Letterboxd fours, but people in the community. I put out a question in the Shockwave Sports Discord, which you could find all my wrestling stuff, but we do have a movie text channel, and I just kind of threw it out there. I got some Letterboxd top fours from people joining us, and I know we just have stuff from our friends, our fellow collaborators, but I want to just kind of quickly go through our fours. So Nate, quickly go through your four and kind of just give me a little summary of why they are in your four.
Yeah, my Letterboxd top four has not really changed much. These maybe aren't my four favorite movies, so I don't know if I'm using this system right. They cover all the bases, all four bases, including home plate, of what I need out of movies. So up first, we've got a Goofy movie. I think it's one of Disney's finest pictures, if not their finest. It's a really strong father-son arc. It's a funny road trip movie. It's everything that I want out of a wholesome good time at the movies. It got a great soundtrack. It's short and sweet. It doesn't beat around the bush. That's a Goofy movie. I love that movie.
One of the first movies we ever reviewed together. I don't know if you knew that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Up next is David Fincher's 2007 masterpiece, Zodiac. This is a movie with a big ensemble cast. It's a period movie, and it's one of the best of its kind. I think it is a 3-hour plus runtime that goes by in about 90 minutes worth of attention. Like, it is, every time I watch it, there's something new that I learned. If you are familiar with the Zodiac Killer, the attention to detail and the crime scene recreations is completely unmatched. And this is really the movie where I think we unlock Fincher as the Kubrick of our day in terms of the technical prowess and performance that he's able to get with every frame of a movie, shooting on digital, color editing in digital, and still making it feel like a gritty, tangible film. I love Zodiac, one of my all-time favorites. Up next, I've got RoboCop. If you know me, you know I love satire, I love a good dark comedy, and I love earnest, cheesy 80s action movies. You get everything all in one with RoboCop. It covers the entire decade of the 80s for me, in terms of its tone, its politics, its rhetoric. It is just truly one of the most entertaining movies ever. It's got some of the best special effects ever with its stop motion Ed 209. It's got some really, really funny, rewatchable moments. I could probably turn the movie RoboCop on any day and either watch it passively or just get fully locked in. It is so amazing and a very, very weird movie by today's standards. And then my final film, this is the one that I feel is the most variable. I almost always am juggling between it being Stanley Kubrick's Barry Lyndon or Milos Forman's Amadeus, and I think I go with Amadeus more frequently than not because I love both those movies for being period dramas, mostly shot with natural lighting, mostly shot by candlelight, but where Amadeus does it a little bit better for me is in the characterization. It's got a little bit more of an ensemble. I like that it's told from F. Murray Abraham's Salieri character and all of his. That it's an untrustworthy narrator in the way that Barry Lyndon has kind of this omnipresent narrator that knows everything. Amadeus is based off of a play, and it is a celebration of both theater, film, and music. I think it's the best music biopic ever made. I think it is truly a one-of-a-kind movie, and I would watch this film. I'd recommend it to anybody. My mom loves this movie. It's dark, it's edgy, but it's funny, and it's really entertaining. And yeah, I don't know. I relate to Amadeus sometimes. He's a workaholic.
It's like
he drives himself mad and sick because he works so hard.
It's like how Nolan relates to Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
My Letterboxd top 4, I got Good Will Hunting. It is probably my favorite drama ever, and it also feels weird to not have a movie with both Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in it. They are two of my favorite actors. I love their origin story of how they, just their way they got into Hollywood. I've always just thought that was really cool how they did it. Like, they kind of just took over Hollywood, just two friends from college. Like, to me, like, that's really fucking cool. And this movie, it is powerful, especially when you first watch it. Robin Williams is another actor I love. His sessions with Matt Damon, probably the only movie where upon rewatch I will still cry. Like, I cry
every time I watch that scene.
Yeah, it's one of those rare movies where I will probably at least tear up with every rewatch. Yeah, I think it's a masterpiece. I have Ready or Not, which I used to say is one of my favorite modern movies, but came out in 2019. I don't know if I could say that anymore. But I saw this while I was in college, and when I think of this movie, I think of college, where I was really starting to find what my tastes are, and found my love in not only horror, but also in dark comedy. And I think this is one of the best modern dark comedies to date. One of my favorite ensemble casts, and it's full of a lot of unknowns. And I really like that. I really like the universe this movie's set in. I think the ending is great. One of my favorite endings ever.
Yeah, and it's kind of a twist, but you're not too caught off guard by it.
It's kind of a comfort movie for me, in a way.
Yeah.
I also like board games, so I think that comes into play too.
Samara Weaving's incredible in the movie too. Like,
she
a great lead character performance.
And in the marketing, at least every time I saw the trailer in theaters, I would hear somebody go, "Is that Margot Robbie?" The next one I got is Ratatouille, which, as if you know me, you know I love this movie. But if you also know me, you know I don't watch a lot of animated movies. So for this to be beloved by me is a big deal. This movie as a kid was kind of the first movie where I was like, there's something different about this. I don't like it just because it's Disney or Pixar. Like, I like how it's made. I like how it looks. I like these characters. I like the dialogue. Like, I started to figure out what a good movie is. This was kind of my gateway drug into, like, liking movies. Said that about a Pixar movie, but yeah. This movie I've just always loved. I was the weird kid that had the Ratatouille toy when everybody else had, like, Buzz Lightyear. I also love food. The food looks delicious in this. This is my comfort movie.
It's the one Pixar movie that can compete with Studio Ghibli in the sense of every shot of food in this movie looks so yummy.
It's insane. And everything with ego at the end, especially as I get older, that ego scene hits me more and more with every passing year. You relate to that nostalgia more and more. My love of movies comes from nostalgia. So nostalgia being a big theme from this movie, I think, is why it'll always be a special place and probably will never leave my top 4. And then my number 1 is Point Break. Is my answer when people say it's what my favorite movie is. I watched this in high school and I don't know why, just fell in love with it. I rewatched it a bunch of times. I think Swayze is a charismatic, like, machine in this. You can't take your eyes off of him in the screen. This movie does something so differently too, where it is an emotional relationship between two men, and especially in the 90s, you do not get that. It is just so different than any action movie. So good, in fact, Fast and Furious copied the script. But It's my favorite action movie. Gary Busey is entertaining as hell in it too. It has a great supporting cast. Keanu is like the great straight man. Johnny Utah, former quarterback. It's so outrageously cheesy in some ways, and I think that's why I love it. It's my comfort movie. It's the movie that I will turn on if I, just want to watch something I love. The ex-presidents, the visual of them, I think is one of the most iconic, like, action visuals ever. Like, some of the coolest antagonists, the jumping off the planes, some of the best stunt work I've ever seen. Directed by James Cameron's ex-wife.
Yeah, Catherine Bigelow,
which I think is cool as hell, that I think the best action movie is directed by a woman. She elevates this movie. Like, her filmmaking really does.
The reason this has a, emotional relationship and friendship turned wrong or gone south in this movie is with that kind of feminine touch and perspective. It's almost a commentary on, like, the buddy cop movie or the Sting movie as a whole, while also serving as one of the best in that capacity. It's a great film.
And it was towards the end of the buddy cop, oversaturation. We were kind of wrapping up the Lethal Weapon movies. All Beverly Hills Cop was also pretty much done, because I think this is 97, I believe. And
Point Break? No, I think it's earlier than that. I think it's 91.
Is it? Or I have it right here. Yeah, it is 91. I don't know why I was thinking 97, but I think I was thinking of Good Will Hunting, actually.
The internet's busiest movie nerd.
I don't think I've ever said this. I watched Point Break just because I was watching an episode of Schmoes Know, if anyone remembers them. They were doing their movie trivia showdown, and one of the genres was Point Break, like just Point Break questions. And some of the things that were said about the movie, I just sounded so cool, and I watched the movie the next day and just fell in love with it. So because of a random YouTube video of two guys talking, I found my favorite movie. And I think that's why platforms like this, I think, are important, because it is fun recommending movies to people. Because you never know, people might find the thing that changes their outlook on film. Absolutely.
We had a pretty long-running podcast that made it to 100 episodes, you and I, a few years back. And we ended every episode for the first 50 episodes telling people to watch A Ghost Story.
Yes. Yeah, and before that, we had Missing Link and stuff. Probably based on this channel, probably be weird that you didn't mention Star Wars. That's just something it's hard to put into one movie. And it's one of those things.
Well, right, because the one you'd have to pick would be Return of the Jedi, which is the best one, and you can't. This might be a good segue, Josh, because we are trying to do like a movie book club of sorts, and you're supposed to bring a recommendation for me to check out, and everyone who's listening along to check out, as it will be a big segment on next week's episode.
I thought about this a lot, and to also kind of spoil the second half of that episode is going to be a final girl Mount Rushmore, where we are going to pick pretty much who our top 4 final girls in horror movies, slashers are, however you want to put it. I thought about it a lot, and I kind of want to revisit a movie we reviewed back on Missing Link. I think this be a good kickoff for us, because my opinions have not only changed on the movie, but changed on the franchise as a whole. I'm going to pick John Carpenter's Halloween. I'm going to pick an easy one to kick things off. And I have a lot more to talk about that than when we first did it back in 2018. God. So some perspectives on that movie and the franchise has changed for me, and I got a lot to discuss, actually. And I'm looking forward to revisiting it as well one more time.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to talking about the Mount Rushmore of final girls, survivors of slasher movies, next week on the pod, and a deep dive on Halloween.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. Get your spooky season ready. So yeah, and that's a movie people probably we're going to revisit anyway. So kick off your October rewatching Halloween and come discuss it with us. And we want to make this a community like you see in my other content. So we want to politely judge some of your Letterboxd scores. And we'll kind of go back and forth, Nate. Who do you got first? Who do you want to shout out?
I'd like to shout out my cousin, Matt King. Hopefully will be a future guest. He's been a collaborator of ours in the past. He's got his own podcast, Hoot and a Half, as well as being a host on Unfiltered and Good Influences. Very, very close friend of mine, a cousin of sorts, and absolutely love that man. But I thought his top 4 stood out to me. He's got When Harry Met Sally,
Okay.
I think
I could see
really
that.
the movie that started the modern rom-com.
Yeah.
It's a great film. 20th Century Women.
Okay.
Another great
Yeah.
film. Yi Yi, which is one of my favorite movies of the 21st century, far and away. And then Fanny and Alexander, a little throwback action from him. And kind of the movie that Wes Anderson borrows his style from the most. And knowing Matt as well as I do, I get this. These 4 movies capture who he is very well.
Yeah, they're all solid picks, and yeah, that's always the toughest part about Letterboxd is not only you're picking 4 movies you like, but you also kind of want to pick it like your personality. It's almost like a dating app, and you're trying to be like, oh, how will people see me if I put this and this? It's always interesting, especially somebody that you met, and you could see it in a movie, like, oh, I could see it. Like, that's pretty cool. No, those are all good picks. Good job, Matt.
Who you got next?
I have the man behind a lot of my stuff lately. Of course, I got to do Mr. Johnny Von Hollywood himself, John Peralski. His top 4, I think, also fits his personality very well. We got Speed Racer.
Okay, that's based.
Empire Strikes Back, The Dark Knight, and Terminator 2, which I know is his favorite movie of all time. This is... If you know Johnny Von Hollywood, these are the 4 movies. Like, this is a very solid top 4, I think.
Yeah, I mean, undisputed 4 great movies. Like, you
Yeah.
can't really argue there. Speed Racer. If you don't think it's on that same tier, go rewatch it. I dare you. It is. I dare you.
If you haven't rewatched Speed Racer, John Peralski will make you rewatch it. Who do you got next?
I want to shout out my friend Doug Gallo. He is a filmmaker as well. He's in New York City, and he's just recently released a documentary that is doing great. It's winning a lot of film festivals around here, and hopefully will be a future guest somewhere down the line as well. But he is an avid believer in the NMCU, the Nancy Meyers Cinematic Universe, which you gotta love that in the bio. His favorite movie is Clueless, The Parent Trap, The Little Mermaid, and The Sound of Music.
Lindsay Lohan, Parent Trap, I assume.
Yep.
Yep. I love that.
And I mean,
movie.
that's a
comfort movie
great
for me as
solid
well.
4.
Yeah.
Doug's awesome. He and I went and saw Holdovers on opening night together.
Another cozy
we
movie.
occasionally, I think he's the king of comfort cinema. So shout out to Doug Gallo, and congrats on winning a couple of film festivals out on Long Island. You got a bright future ahead of yourself, and are
awesome.
always working.
Hell yeah. Big congrats to Doug. I have another man, another film graduate, Robert Ballantyne, all the way from across the pond. His top 4, we've known Rob for a long time. The Thing, Godfather Part 2, Highlander, and Mad Max Fury Road. Right up Rob's alley. I have heard him talk about Mad Max Fury Road and The Thing quite a lot. Godfather Part 2 does feel like it's his, like, well, I do love film, I'm a cinephile. That's the pick for that. And I know, and Highlander, I know he has based some of his shock wrestling costumes on that, so I'm not surprised that is also there.
Okay, yeah, Highlander being on there is a little questionable, but you know,
very Rob, yeah.
Scottish movie, I guess.
Which he is part Scottish. I always forget. We always know him as the British guy, but I don't want to take down your Scotland culture.
And those of you who don't know, I'm actively a filmmaker myself. The role I find myself doing most frequently is either some camera work or some sound work. And whenever I get the opportunity to boom op, there's only one person I want to be my sound mixer, and that is my friend Tom Fama. Woo! His 4 favorites are so incredibly based. I wish I was bold enough to make this my 4 favorites. But he's got Andrei Tarkovsky's Mirror, his 1975 epic, great film. Little long, little depressing, but if you can get through it, it's a great film. He's got David Lynch's Blue Velvet, which he actually sold his old copy to me. Shoutouts to the 4K Criterion disc, or Blu-ray. But thank you. Dario Argento's Suspiria, and Chinatown, Roman Polanski. I think those are the 4 best movies that I've ever seen on someone's.
Get this man to
Top
the
4.
Criterion closet immediately. That's where he belongs.
Yes. Yeah. Tom would have a field day in the Criterion closet.
I got a wild one up next. Jacob Walker 72 on Letterboxd. Forgot what app I'm on. Animus in the shock wrestling world. Big shout out to the guy. He has a podcast as well. Check out the Animus podcast. He's got him and Nicholas Alexander did an episode actually. It's pretty fun. He's got The Batman, Interview with a Vampire, Phantom Paradise, and Better Man. Robbie
Wow.
Williams, Better Man, that I recommended to him a couple of months ago, or it might have been a couple of weeks ago, actually. It was recent. He did tell me, I think that's the best biopic I've ever seen. Insane. Insane take by Jacob here.
I simply just didn't care for Better Man. I'm glad that people do. It's really high rated on Letterboxd. People are liking the Monkey Man movie.
I've seen it twice. I left the first one like, oh, that was good. But that second time, I don't know why, I really liked it. I don't. That second watch really got it for me.
I think it really works that Robbie Williams is just not known in the States, like, at all. Like, if they know him, they know him from, like, one music video.
Yep. Like, I didn't know who he was when I first saw the movie. There's a great video on the channel me talking about my first reaction to Better Man.
All right, now I've got my last one. This is someone who I don't know, who follows me. Christian cinema critic, Christian follower with a Bible quote, Philippines 4, 6-7. His name's Isaac Edwards. Don't know the guy. We like each other's reviews back and forth pretty frequently, and I think he likes my opinions. I sometimes read his reviews as well, and will share my thoughts and feelings. His 4 favorites, I find this really fascinating, are Dune, Part 2, The Shawshank Redemption, Grave of the Fireflies, and then Prisoners.
Damn.
Okay. I think that's a really, really solid 4.
Yeah.
And one thing I like about Letterboxd as a platform, and I like as like movies as a discussion in general, is that like you don't have to have, you know, like this guy's like his location says Springfield, Illinois. I haven't ever been there, but like we met because we both liked a review of like Knives Out 2 or something, and then looked at each other's profiles, and like the sense of a community, like there's community with complete strangers through the art of cinema.
That's been happening to me as I've been binging the Friday the 13th movies. I've been posting reviews, and I've like followed other people because they've been liking, and I've been liking theirs. So I found people also revisiting the movies right now. It's really fun.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that he takes this really seriously. He's got a link to every single one of his reviews, and he's got a website that's linked and everything. So it's like, it's really cool to be able to see that there's another generation of like film journalists and film critics, coming out of this platform and of this community. And this is kind of our way of expressing it, but the people that do traditional reviews and things of that nature, it's extremely valuable because it opens the world and discussion on art, and it will keep it alive. I can't wait to hear his review for Weapons when he sees it.
That's sick. I got a shout out to Luke Mercer, who just joined my community pretty recently, and told me he just started training to become a wrestler at an indie promotion. So good luck to him. Want to give him a little shout out. His 4 is The Princess Bride, The Spiderwick Chronicles. Oh yes, okay. The Green Mile, and The Wizard of Oz. So by the 3, it's like, okay, he really loves fantasy, and then I assume, The Green Mile's his favorite serious movie, quote unquote. That's what I perspective of this. Not bad. There's some classics here.
The Wizard of Oz should be on everyone's secret, like, that should be everyone's secret 5th movie. That movie's incredible.
It's the movie that should be, like, forced upon you need to watch. It's like, like, that is the movie everyone has seen. Like, it is interesting. Wicked for Good. The review's incoming. We started this pod at an interesting time. I'm
gonna have to see that movie at least twice in theaters, and I'm not looking forward to it. I like to shout out another one of my cousins, Tyler Vonberg. We always when a new like horror movie comes out, I'm like, have you seen Weapons yet? Have you seen, whatever? Infinity Pool is one he and I both had as our top movie of 2022. We got his 4 favorites: Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay.
A Clockwork Orange.
Solid.
The Truman Show. And Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Yeah, I'm not a Scott Pilgrim guy, but I bet you Tyler and I will definitely be touching base on upcoming Running Man remake with Edgar Wright directing. That looks quite good. That's just a few weeks away. I believe 2 weeks out. Another movie that I think should be everyone's Phantom 5, if it's not the Wizard of Oz, would be Singing in the Rain. And I do like that he has the customized posters on his Letterboxd, because he's got a Clockwork Orange Singing in the Rain poster, which is awesome.
I love that. Speaking of Truman Show, my next one does have that. Shout out to FFG Slime, my buddy Zach. I believe his Twitch has the same username. He's got the Truman Show. He's also got Spirited Away, Tropic Thunder, and Inglourious Bastards. That's solid. That's a wild top 4.
Have you seen Spirited Away, Josh?
No, I still have not seen a Ghibli movie. And if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll watch it.
All right, if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'm making Josh watch every single Studio Ghibli movie over the course of the run of this show.
Yep.
In chronological order.
I have 2 wild ones I have in the chamber right now. What else you got?
So Gabe Acosta, a friend of mine from elementary school, who we keep in touch through sharing movie reviews. He'll post his on his story, and we'll just have a little conversation about them. Very cool stuff. His favorite movie, 4 favorites, are The Hereditary, Poor Things, another Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and then Disney's Lady and the Tramp.
Wow.
I think it's interesting because it's fun to see people who you sometimes agree with, sometimes disagree with, but finding their like core principles. It's easy for me to see like horror's his favorite genre. Hereditary is probably the first horror movie he saw that came out in his lifetime and was life-changing, and then like Lady and the Tramp is his like bread and butter Disney movie. Mine's Goofy movie, his is Lady and the Tramp. Like it's fun to see the similarities in people you don't always agree with opinions. He didn't like Weapons. I think he gave it like a 2.5, and I'm like, how dare you? How dare you?
Wow. Putting down that Letterboxd overall. Damn. I noticed when you Google a movie now, you know how it, of course, has Rotten Tomatoes? Now it has the Letterboxd
I haven't
average.
seen that yet.
Yeah, I just noticed that yesterday, and I'm like, wow. So that it's interesting how Letterboxd scores might be influenced.
After like 12 years, it's finally relevant.
Yeah, like it's gonna be weird when we see an ad, and it's gonna be like, check out Superman Man of Tomorrow. It's got a average 4.5 on Letterboxd. Like that.
It's
that's
averaging a
probably
3.2.
Speaking of Superman, though, my buddy Cloudy Sky on Letterboxd has Superman in his top 4 2025s. This is a wild list. This is crazy. The Princess Bride's next. That's not crazy. But then these other 2. We have The Intern. Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro's The Intern.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the internship with the Wedding Crashers guys, and I was like, whoa.
And then we have, I can't believe I'm mentioning this movie on episode 1, Draft Day, Kevin Costner. I didn't ask him why those are, but I just was like, wow. On paper, insane. That is a roller coaster of emotions while reading that.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Do you have another?
I got my friend Jake Steer, 18 on Letterboxd, has Good Will Hunting.
Oh,
He's number 1.
man of good taste.
Oppenheimer.
Another one.
Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
And
classic.
the wild card here is The Imitation Game, which I think is pretty underrated. I think that's a really, really good film.
I saw that movie in theaters back in the day. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've actually had really long discussions with Jake once a year or so when we hang out. I'm like, dude, I rewatched Imitation Game, and you're right. Like that movie is really firing on all cylinders. I would put it above Oppenheimer personally, but maybe
it's an underrated ass Cumberbatch performance.
Yeah,
and Keira Knightley.
Really good in that movie. And Keira Knightley's really good in that movie. And I'm obviously sensing a theme here where he likes these like big historic based, based on a real life story movies like Oppenheimer and Imitation Game. But then of course you've got Shawshank there too, which has really like generationally speaking been one of those like, this is secretly like the best movie of all time.
Everyone's favorite movie is always the
highest rated movie on IMDb still to this day.
Yeah, like wild. I have TJ the Raven. Shout out to the Raven.
I almost included Ravens as well.
His is wild. The Iron Giant, Scream, Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, and Twisters.
Wild.
He wants to have fun at the movies is what I see here. To say it nicely. When I first saw the list, I did say to him, "Are you a 12-year-old boy?" And but he used to have Surf's Up on here. He did take out Surf's Up like a coward and replaced it with Iron Giant. Just a little shout out to Raven. I know Surf's Up was there.
Okay. I saw Twisters in 4D, 4DX. That was pretty lit.
So you've seen a couple movies in 4D now. I never did.
I've seen Avatar in 4D. Which for 3.5 hours to be strapped to a chair that's punching you in the back and blowing wind and water on you, it's kind of not great. For Twisters, I mean, that's got to be the only way to see that movie.
Yeah. Did it actually elevate the experience?
It totally did. It was ridiculous. It was like I was riding a damn roller coaster anytime the movie was good. And then when it wasn't good and they're just driving in a car, I'm like, whoa, I'm in a car, but I'm in a movie theater.
I saw Twisters with John Sakula, shout out, and I remember it was a group of us, and I remember leaving the theater, and like first half, it was literally like the Jackbox game split the room. The half did not like it at all. And then Sakula and I are just sitting there like, I kind of like that movie. Like, Glenn Powell was pretty fun. Like, we're secretly, like, talking more and more positive about it while everybody else is talking shit on it. And I'm like, I don't know.
I think the cast is good. Anthony Ramos is great in that movie. I think David Cornsweet's great as the villain.
I think it's going to age well because of the cast. Like, that's the future of Hollywood's in those two, like, leading men in that movie.
It's kind of like the original.
Yeah.
The things I didn't like about the movie were all the shots that looked like a truck commercial and the bad country music. But whatever, it's a Twisters movie.
Yeah. And then the last two, I think this is perfect, are good friends over at So Far So Good, Nick and Eamon. I got Eamon's 4 here. B and John Malkovich.
Nice.
Hundreds of Beavers. Ah, that's what it is.
Hell yeah, that makes sense.
Sing Street and The Big Lebowski, Big Lebowski also makes a lot of sense. I could see Eamon starring in a Big Lebowski remake.
As the dude or as Walter?
Both.
Both? What's Nick doing? Is Nick Buscemi?
Yes, Nick is Steve Buscemi.
Okay, and then who are we? What I want to say is one of us is Philip Seymour Hoffman's butler character who really only has one great scene, and then the other one of us is Jesus, who's the pedophile bowler.
I like to think too, if I did stay with acting, I could have been the next Philip Seymour Hoffman if I had talent.
Oh, if you stayed acting, you would be the best actor of all time. Cool. That's awesome. I love that for you, buddy.
No, somebody told me that I just have vibes of that guy, and I'm like, thanks. He plays a lot of weird characters. I don't know how I feel about that.
He died of an overdose, which is tragic. I don't.
He's the GOAT,
together,
but oh my god.
That's what happens when you don't go to a Mets game, Josh.
And of course, Nick Rorman, dear friend of the show, of the community. Well, we got a twist here now, because we do know Blues Brothers, we know La La Land, we know Grand Budapest. Those are the Nick Rorman classic trilogy right there. But he has added a movie and a thing you know quite well, Stop Making Sense.
Okay. I respect that. It's my favorite concert movie ever. I've got the tattoo right here. Big Talking Heads fan. And it's not like it's directed by the guy who did Silence of the Lambs, Jonathan Demme. It's really one of the best shot and told concert films ever made. It's a masterpiece. Respect to that.
I'm pretty sure Rorman wasn't a Talking Heads fan going into it, if I remember his review correctly. So that's pretty cool. That the movie
I think
made
he
him a
knew
fan.
a couple of songs, and getting to see the movie re-released and then making an effort to go and see it as many times while it was playing in IMAX, makes sense to me. The last time him and Eamon stayed with me, we were making a list of all of the Talking Heads songs ever ranked, so he's now a super fan like me.
Yeah.
And for me, they've been one of my favorite bands pretty much as far back as I can remember, even if I'm constantly learning and discovering more in their discography and defending their albums that aren't quite as good. Naked, listen to it if you haven't. It's not that bad. Shout out to the song Blind.
Ooh. Well, sick. That was a fun segment too. I think we all got to know each other and got to know the community a little bit. Yeah, man. So next week, Final Girl Mount Rushmore, and check out Halloween, John Carpenter's original Halloween, if you want to join in on us on the discussion. Yeah, that's exciting, man. Episode 1 in the books. What do you think?
Thank you, everyone who's made it this far, who's listening along or watching along on YouTube. I'm excited to be on this endeavor and making a podcast with one of my best pals again. This is exciting stuff, and we're going to keep it fresh. We're going to keep it entertaining, and in the future, probably keep it a little shorter.
Yeah, first episwant to get to know us.
Let's see how you do, Agent K.
Yeah. Let us know in the discussions if you or in the comments if you want us to talk about a certain movie or had an idea. We're always open to that as well. We want to create what you want to watch as well. Yep, and follow the socials. Follow us all on Instagram or wherever. Follow our letterboxes. Letterbox links will be in the description as well, of course, for this episode. And yeah, this has been At the Movies with Ace and Martin, and I'll see you all in the next podcast. I still don't have an outro, even for this series.